Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to video number 7 of TwoCrazyShuckers Creations. My name is Michelin, and we create resin earrings and accessories, fun and quirky. Today, I wanted to revisit this mold by Crafty 787 shop. I tried pouring it the other day with some leftover resin, and I had these in green, but I had so many air bubbles, none of them made the cut. So I thought today I want to do some that are purple, and then we're going to try to paint them yellow, and then some that will be yellow, and we'll try to find I'll find a purple paint to paint those. And then we'll just go from there. We're going to try the Let's Resin Opaque Resin Pigment. And I think I'm going to mix it with the white UV resin so that I get more of a pastel-y kind of color. So get out a couple cups. Get out some stir sticks. I want to get out my tool for going over these flowers. So the first thing I do notice is this is much more low viscosity than the black. Now, I did see someone say that they got 2 white and 1 black in their kit. And I was wrong when I said you get 2 black and 1 white. You actually do get, excuse me for my mistake, you actually do get 2 white and 1 black. And it is an amazing way to save using, have to color it. Now also, got some of these mats for when we're doming, and I'm going to give those a try today. These cute little silicone mats. So, let's start here. I don't want them to be, what's the word? Super pigmented. I want to be able to keep that pastel. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Oh yeah, that color is nice. That is perfect. So I'm going to make sure I get this mixed well. And I'm not going to add any glitter at this time or any mica powders because of this design, this flower design. I want to make sure that it comes out the right way. I also noticed that there's something in my mold right there. I'm going to just take this and go over my mold really quick, just to kind of clean out any residue from the other stuff that was in here. Washing your molds is simple. You just do it in warm, soapy water. And I don't do that every time I use them. That's a once a week thing. Okay, so that looks better. Now, let's mix up some of this yellow, which this is the Let's Resin Opaque Resin Pigment. Ooh, that might be too much. We'll see. And we are adding this to the colored UV resin white Let's Resin. Ooh-wee. That is super bright. Okay. I can't say as that's the color I was going for. I like the purple. I like the lavender color. But I want to tone down this yellow just a bit. There we go. That is much better. See that? I just need to make sure that I mix it in well, especially what's on the sides. Okay, that is a good place to start. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to add a little bit more because I want to do the bigger and the purple and the stud too. I do feel like this might darken up as it cures, so I want to make sure that I have it light enough. So as you can see, most of our bubbles have dissipated while it sat. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do the larger. I'm going to stand up, make sure I'm in frame. I am. So this mold is from Crafty 787 shop. We have links for her website in the description, and she is on Etsy. If you go to her website and purchase there, you can use TwoCrazyShuckers and you'll get a 10% discount. Let's Resin, if you go to their website and use TwoCrazyShuckers, all capital, and there's an S on the end, you get 10% on their site as well. It does not work on Amazon or Etsy, just on their websites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this silicone brush part because I got to make sure that I get it. We're going to do like a beauty coat because I want to kind of make sure that we're getting the details of those flower designs. And I didn't take enough time the first time I poured them in a previous video to make sure that I would gotten a nice beauty coat. And then once you get that coat on there, you just kind of go over it a little bit to make sure that you're in all those spots, and just let it sit there a moment while you work on the other one. We have some bubbles coming up to the top. It is degassing on its own. When you stir in any kind of color to your resin, you're going to get some bubbles. There's much controversy over wooden sticks, that they do add air as well, which I understand that, but for me, it's not that much of a problem to get rid of the few bubbles that we do get. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically just kind of painting that resin onto that flower design, just so that you get a nice coat. I'm going to do the same over here. See, you can see it on the edge of those flowers that are in the mold. And that's never a bad practice. Little beauty coat and let it sit for a moment. Now, as you can see, we are not using gloves. When I use UV resin, I don't have the need to use gloves. I'm very careful not to get it on my hands. I am actually more allergic to the gloves than UV resin. And you just keep your hands clean while you're doing it, and don't get it on your hands, and you'll be okay. I know PPE, you have to do what's right for you. This is what I do. No, I don't know what that was from, but we'll throw that away. Okay, now I am going to take the lighter and just go over these just a little bit. But I'm going to let them sit for a moment, and I'm going to put my yellow in, and I'm going to do the same for that. Just a very light beauty coat. I like that yellow a whole lot more. Then I toned it down a bit. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. You can actually use the dotting tool side as well. It's really up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with. And same way with PPE. I'm not going to dictate to you how you should be using resin. Now, 2-part epoxy, that's a different story. When we use 2-part for our, I have to back coat this one, resin snowflake decorations, we do wear gloves. I have gotten more molds, and we are considering expanding what we make with 2-part epoxy. I just have to get more comfortable with it before we start doing that. It doesn't come easy to me to create with. not like UV resin is. So I do see a little bubble right there that's come up. I do like these shorter handle lighters. They work better for me. I get them on Amazon and they are refillable, which is a huge money saver, especially it's hard to use a torch when you're doing UV resin. Also, you cannot spray UV with alcohol. It does not have the same effect as when you do two-part epoxy. So I do want these ones to be in purple as well. And these, I'm just going to use this part of the thing. I put a little bit more in there than I should have. I'm just going to make sure I do this edge very well. Kind of let it sit over the design. We may paint those ones in white. I'm not sure yet how we're going to do it. I guess we'll know when the time comes. Okay, now we're going to refill. Get out what any bubbles I might see. It is still degassing a little bit. And we're going to fill these up to the top. Make sure I'm in frame. You can see a few bubbles going in, but not too bad. Just a slow drop to a time. We don't want to overfill the mold. That one looks good. It can be domed a little bit too. And I'm going to pour the rest in here, hoping that those top ones have enough. I think they do. I think they'll be okay. So, just going to keep trying to get out all I can for this one. I'm very careful not to touch that edge of the cup or the part of the stick that has the resin on it. Like I said, PPE is up to you. This is what I do. I have a little bit of resin right there on my finger. I just wipe it off with the alcohol baby wipe. Now there are some bubbles that are still coming up. We're just going to get those out real quick. Then we're going to move on to the yellow. I thought about variegating purple and yellow for the studs, but I forgot when I went to make them. I am going to fill these as much as I can, and then I'm going to find a little mold to use the rest of it. Now I am going to let these rest just a moment. I'm going to put a little bit more. Just a little tiny amounts till you get it filled to the top. And I'm going to continue to let those sit for just a moment. Now I do have this little Peeps mold that is from Crafty as well. I need to move this over here. I attempted to do these the other day as well, but on demold, they had some issues. So I threw them away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them a little bit lighter by adding more of this pre-tinted UV resin in white from Let's Resin. Of course, we're going to mix it a little more. Ooh, I don't feel like that's enough. Ooh, we'll add a little more. We'll make them very light yellow. If we have to add more pigment, we can do so. But I think I'm going to stick with this very light yellow color, just so that they're a little bit different. I think I am in love with that white resin. So we're going to do a little tiny beauty coat. Set that aside for a moment, because I did notice when I did it before, I had a lot of bubbles around that edge. but it had mica powder in it, so I'm not sure if it was the mica. I'm hoping that this simple addition of the resin dye in opaque kind of takes away the questions of bubbles around these edges and around the details, because we will paint these, and we'll paint these in a fun color too, maybe purple, something a little bit different. Okay, we're going to wipe that off, and then I'm just going to clean up this side edge just a little bit of any bubbles, and you can see that has a lot of bubbles. I added a lot of bubbles when Ooh, there was a big one on the edge right there. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. I'm going to come back to these. Just going to give them a little bit because we have a lot more bubbles that have come up. Get those last remaining bubbles out. Try not to hit it too much, but sometimes that's impossible. And then we're going to add that to the light and get that ready for cure. I'm going to hold off though until I get these ones done. So I'm going to fill these back up all the way. This light yellow is quite pretty. The way it mixes with the tinted resin is stunning, actually. I don't do a lot of earrings in yellow either. As you can see, the flame takes those right away. And we're just going to add the rest. Since we have it, we're going to use it. It's a very creamy yellow color. And I'm going to stick this, actually get whatever's left that I can out of it. So I was thinking about doing a bookmark. We add bookmarks. Ooh, that touched my hand. So I'm just going to take it and wipe it off. Make sure your hands are clean. I have not had any kind of reaction to the UV resin. This brand of Let's Resin doesn't cause me any issues at all. But it never hurts to make sure your hands remain clean. So I was saying, I got some bookmark molds, some larger ones coming. We have also a set from Let's Resin that have some moons and the moon phases. We're thinking about doing a video. Do you prefer just to watch earring videos? Or would you like to see some other things that we create with UV resin? You can let us know in the comments. Now, as you can see, that's been torched enough with the lighter that it did not, it took the bubbles out, but it didn't leave any black like burn marks. You'll know when you've torched it too much because it'll be burn marks. I'm going to go ahead and set that in our Let's Resin UV lamp, and we're going to do 5 minutes. I will pause the video and we will be back. Welcome back. Our Easter eggs are nice and solid. The double-sided UV lamp works so good at curing things, you know, both front and back because of that tray that sits in the middle. And our chicks look pretty good too. Let's take these out first. We're not going to finish these today. See, I still have an air bubble right there. I might be able to still work with that. But as you can see, there's just a tiny little slight air bubble right there. And there are some air bubbles around the details. So I'm going to have to be very careful when I paint these. So there's those. We're going to put those aside for now. Of course, while I was on break, I was I got another little idea, you know, brainstorm. So let's demold these. Let's hoping these come out good. Oh, we have, I don't know if that's an air bubble. No, that's a flower detail. These are flower details. So there's that pair. A little bit of overage there. As you can see, they are definitely workable. The detail of the earring, the flowers, does go to the edge. There's a slight air bubble there, but I think it'll be okay once we fill it all in. That purple is very muted, but it's still quite cute. Now we have these, which they have those same things. Though that tells me that's not much of an air bubble. That's just the detail of the earring. See all those flowers on there? So we're going to paint those. They'll be super cute. I'm going to stay standing up while I do this. That way I can see my camera and what you're seeing a little bit better. So these only go to that little edge there. And those are the florals on those. I'm not sure what color we're going to paint those in. Again, this mold is from Crafty787 shop. And it's crafty787.com. And there is a code, TwoCrazyShuckers, and you'll get 10% off your order. So now is decision time, which means I did not think ahead and get out the appropriate paint. I don't know what I was thinking. So we have this purple. I don't know if I have any yellow paint. I also have this purple, which I like better. We have some white, which might be a possibility. And now I need to find some yellow, which means another container. Apologies for not being prepared. And here is some yellow. What's this? Antique white. Now, when you use acrylic paint on resin, you have to be sure that you are top coating that, because acrylic paint will not stay on the resin. So that's something to consider whenever you're painting. Where are my paint markers? I might have a color that I like better. I got these little paint markers, Emmy and L. I'm not even sure if they still make them, but I got them at a Ross store locally. I'm going to try the purple, and of course we'll dig out the white. And as you can see, I paid $3.99 for these at Ross. As for where you can get them, I'm not sure anymore. So let's see what happens when we paint the yellow. Oh wait, this yellow might work. Ooh, we might have found our yellow. I'm going to move these paints to the side for a moment so that I can be more in frame and show you how I'm doing this. And all I'm doing is trying to make sure that I get into the details. Now, just to make sure this color is going to show, I'm going to take a baby wipe, not alcohol yet, just a baby wipe because it's a little more gentle. And I'm going to wipe and see if I like this yellow. If not, we'll have to go to paint. I chose the brighter yellow in the marker pack just because I thought it might show up better on the purple. As you can see, there's some little pockets that do not have paint in them. You have to make sure those are filled in. Okay. Oh, good job. And I have blue alcohol ink. I'm experimenting with something when I'm on pauses and the light is curing. Actually, I can just use this. Now, oh, see, I like that. That is going to be okay. So we're going to go with that yellow, but I'm going to paint them and then let them dry. And then I'll come back to you when they are dry. Oh my. Okay. So I do like that yellow, and I am going to use it on the larger ones as well. I didn't think I was going to use yellow on those, but I have since decided that I really like the purple-yellow combination. And since they are across from each other on the color wheel, they are complementary colors. Green could be cute too, but I don't think I have a bright enough green to do these justice. Now I can tell you with the depth of these flowers and the air bubbles that I am getting, I am going to have to clean these off, and I'm going to have to coat again because one coat is not going to do it. But I will pause while these are drying, and then once they're dried a little bit later, I'll come back and finish it and show you how I finish these. And I probably will not show you how to assemble the earrings on these two, because if you go back to any of our previous 5 videos, refer back, it shows you the sterling hardware that we use and how we assemble our ear wire earrings. Today, I may show you how we apply studs to the back of our earrings. So, yeah, actually, that's a decision I just made. Executive decision right there. So, I'm going to try this on here and see how it works. I do like that color combo. And you could paint them all different colors. Oh, I wish I had thought of that before. Too late now. I'm not wiping them off. Now, the best thing I've found with acrylic is that you have to go in all directions to fill in all the tiny crevices. So you have to go this way, then you have to go this way. Now that detail is on the edge, so those we went up and down. Now we go back and forth this way. And back and forth. So while I color in the rest of these, I'm going to put you on a fast forward because now you get the basic idea. So bear with me and we will fast forward through those. Well, I did that on a time lapse, the painting, because that is a very time invested. Let me make sure the backs are cleaned off. I did not check these. As you can see, I have purple and yellow paint all over me. And as you can see, that takes more time than is imaginable. I should have kept that. I am going to give these a quick little sand. And then we're going to work on doming the little pair of studs. And then I'm going to show you how to make a pair of studs. I'm going to put these in the lamp while I'm working on these, just so that they're up out of the way. I just want to clean all the sanding dust off before I proceed to back coat or top coat. Now, the lilac colored ones, they in the larger size seem to be a little bit squishy. Nothing alarming, but once they're back coated and domed, they'll be perfect. So now that we got all the hard edges sanded off, we're gonna first, with studs, is opposite of the dangles. Because what you do first is you resin dome the front and then you attach the flat backs. I need to find a little bit smaller tool. And I was thinking about adding some crushed crystal into my top coat for these, just to give them a little bit of sparkle, since I didn't want to add it into the mix. Now the thing is with crushed crystal, you have to go very easy with this. A very little goes a very long way. See, I'm just barely touching it in there. And I'm trying not to breathe while doing so because that stuff goes everywhere. So as you can see, it just gave it a hint of sparkle. Perfect. Now I'm going to take just a little tiny dot. And I am going to do one earring to a time. That way I don't have any fails. Whoops, I moved it out of frame. Sorry. I also am going to turn this off. I adhered those to the tape, but this one didn't want to stick. There it goes. I just find if I adhere it to the double stick tape, it doesn't move around and I'm not chasing it everywhere. So it works better for me that way. We all have our own methods. I know some people use mats and they dome over the whole thing. For me, this works good because I can move it easily on the back of this resin mold in and out of the lamp. So that's cute. I give it just a little bit of sparkle. I'm just gonna do that really quick. I'm working on a project in between. Hopefully, I'm gonna put this up in the lamp for just a minute. The experiment was I took an acrylic blank and I put crushed crystal in the UV and I applied that first to the back, but then I just dotted on different colors of blue, just alcohol ink from Let's Resin. And then I domed over the top. And then I had these cute little press-ons by Taperology. This one's going to need a top coat on the front. And I applied the dolphin. They come in packs. They're like a rub-on pack, like so. And there's different, you know, this one is like a beachy tropical one. And as you can see, this page is my favorite. And I just applied, we got a fish, a starfish, and I applied some other little fish and some bubbles. This is going to need one more coat. And I will say, these little mats are working perfectly for moving things that are a little bit larger than my mold is. Those, you know, the back side of this mold. So, if you are interested in learning how we did this keychain blank, please comment and we will put a video up of us showing how we do these with the alcohol inks from Let's Resin and then these rub-ons from Taperology. We have several different styles of these, a lot of florals, the beachy ones. While we're waiting for that to cure, I'll see what else I have over here. Okay, so we have some of the crystal rub-ons. Those are stickers. I plan to do like a Christmas ornament with this. That's just a sticker book. I have 2 of those. Then we have these beautiful florals. Aren't those amazing? As you can see, I use this one here on a keychain. I'm not sure which keychain. I don't know. Doesn't matter really. And then there was this cute little sticker pack, kind of vintagey. And I love this one. And of course, as I told you, I got the second beach one. They are really cute. I do like these sticker books from Hobby Lobby. I'm not gonna lie. These are great stickers for keychains, whatever you may be using. But anyway, that's for another day. If you'd like to see that, just comment and we will definitely do a video of that. So I am going to put just another dot on top because I want it to be nice and domed. I'm just going to bring that to the edge. And it added a little bit more sparkle. And now we don't have to worry about that acrylic paint rubbing or wearing off because it is now underneath the resin. So there you go. I'm going to add just another dot more, which I'm going to get with my tool. And lightly put it on so that it has a nice rounded top on it. And I'm going to clean my tool off. Just going to do that, and I'm going to check it in the sunlight to make sure it's got a nice dome on top. Then I'm going to start to work on these eggs, which the backs look really good. I'm going to move my tape up just so that my hole is, you know, the hole at the top of the egg is protected. These came out very light yellow. I do have paint everywhere under my nails. Now, as you can see, I wanted to show these to you. Because I did not get all the air bubbles out, this one's fine. It has an air bubble there, which paint went into. I missed the eye, so those won't be happening. I'm going to have to try those yet again. So I'm just going to, as we always do, coat the back side with our gel nail polish. It gives it a beautiful finish plus durability, and it cuts down on any allergy factors for resin touching the skin. Most times UV resin, once it's cured, does not bother people. But this is just like an added layer of protection we add to our earrings. First, we love how it finishes the back side. It levels out. It kind of makes it look soft and finished. I don't know what the words are today. Apparently my words are escaping me. Sorry, trying to keep my head out of the camera. And we're just going to come over here and do the same. Now you have to be careful with this opaque resin pigment because remember, it is opaque. And we added it to a pre-tinted white resin. So it may need longer cure time. And that's something, you know, you tap it and it's hard, but you touch it and it still has that soft, you know, kind of texture feeling to it. Run it for a couple more cycles till you're happy with the hardness. It will harden. And as I stated before, a lot of times with our earrings, we cast them in the mold and then they sit over here with plenty of sunlight coming in, and they usually sit for quite a few days, sometimes weeks, before they're finished. And that does not hurt either, because the more sunlight they get, the more they sit, the more cured they're going to be, and the more friendly they're going to be to the buyer and wearer of your earrings. Okay, so now we have that on there. That one looks kind of bumpy today. I'm wondering if it's because I was running the light. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more to hopefully smooth out those bumps. Wow, I don't have the words today. Trying to get a couple videos made this week before school break. Spring break here in Tennessee for school is next week. So a couple of days I will have both of my grandsons that live here. I will have my grandson that we have custody of, as well as my newly turned 6-year-old grandson. And so we are planning days at the park, the fun stuff. I'm going to let those sit for a minute because, as we all know, the UV polish is self-leveling. And then we're going to go and get the first coat on these second earring here. I do like the little bit of sparkle by adding the crushed crystal to the doming coat. And do I wish they were a little bit more purple, more lavender? Yes, I do. I should have added a little bit of alcohol ink possibly. Not sure. I'm not sure what I would have done different. This is really the first year that we have gotten into making Easter earrings. It's not something we've done. So those are nicely domed now. I'm going to put them under the lamp for the 2 minutes. Now, these are hard. As you can see, I have air bubbles. I'm still not happy with the paint cleanup. These are a pair of earrings that may not be finished in one day because they do need that extra time to dry and kind of become, I don't know if I'm happy with them. If I'm being honest, I can't tell you that I'm happy with that lavender because it almost came out kind of, it's lavender, but it's kind of a gray lavender. Not sure what I'm going to do with those. I am going to put them back into our Let's Resin UV curing lamp. I do see crushed crystal laying, so I'm just going to give my desktop a little wipe. Now, I have not had problems with this opaque resin pigment in clear hard type UV resin before. I've used it and it cured properly. They might be a little soft today because I used this one and maybe it made it too opaque. I'm not quite sure. What I'm going to do while that's curing is we're going to get out some 4mm studs. Of course, we go to our House of Gems. These are still, I don't know if you can see that. Let me move this ahead. These are sterling silver disc post earrings, 4mm, 1 pair. They sell them by the pair. So that's all we need from that. Put all of our jump rings back for now. And we're going to go ahead and get these out. Just so that we have them ahead. So that we're ready. These need a little bit more on the doming. So we're going to go ahead and put that last little bit on. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not used to working so far away from myself and not having my head straight over it. I know that sounds crazy, but I guess we all work in our own ways. I'm also half blind. And we're getting ready for some local events. We have our first event starting March 29th at a local elementary school. And it is quite a wonderful event. We love doing it. We did our first one with them last year, and it was amazing. And we have met some wonderful customers since then from that event. So I'm just going to take this over to the sunlight, and I want to check the height to make sure that I added enough of a dollop on top so that it is level with the other one. We're going to back into the sunlight. That looks good. Now we're going to put that up, and we're going to let these run for 5 minutes. While those are running, we'll get an alcohol swab and we'll get the backs of these cleaned up. And we'll see how these dome over. I think I'm still going to use that same crushed crystal mix that I have already mixed up. Those feel nice and smooth. I'm going to give them a check. Yeah, these ones are not flimsy at all. As I stated, that could be the design. I am going to replace this tape just to make sure that we don't have seepage where your jump ring goes to make the earring. And that's the great thing about these little molds, is that the back side, I guess that's a show mold. Yeah. And I just put them down in there. Now, I'm going to wait for that to cure just a moment. Oh, what am I going to do? I wonder if I put this up in front of it. I wonder what will happen. I'm going to move this to the back. I'm going to keep those to the back and see if that sits up there. It will not sit up there. Okay, let's move this to the back. And let's put this up in front of it. There we go. Ooh. Actually, I don't need that big box. What if I use this? That helps greatly. I'm going to pull the drawer out so it kind of holds it there. Okay. All right. So now that we have the light blocked a little bit, I am going to put the first sparkle coat. Oh, I'm so glad I did that. Also, a great way to get sparkle in your top coat is Marabou inks. Oh gosh, their rainbow ink is really pretty. I think I have one right here. Yes. Alcohol ink, and this is the rainbow. It is really pretty. And it gives a nice little sparkle to your top coat. If you're not able, if you have, you know, a detailed pattern that you can't really use glitter in, it's a great alternative to add the sparkle to your top coat. So we're just gonna keep going here. Now, I am quite happy with how these are doming. I kind of wish I hadn't domed both at once, but I did, not thinking, because this edge is a little precarious with that flower pattern down in there, but it's okay. So I can tell you that I have some edge cleanup right over here, and after I dome that first coat, I'm going to do that edge cleanup. Time check. So as you can see, it will fit just down into the pattern of those flowers. Just want to make sure you get out any air bubbles in that patterned part as much as you can. The lighter's not going to get down in the deep ones, so you have to kind of wedge those out with whatever tool you are most comfortable using. I really love these little tools. They're from Amazon, and they have different shapes of tips, different sizes, And there's a size dotting tool in there for whatever you're doing. I can promise you that. This one doesn't look bad. This one on the side, I am noticing, has some issues. Okay, so I'm going to end the video for now. And I will be back with you when these are all domed. And then when we go to put these together. Be right back. Hello and welcome back. As you can see, stand back up for a moment. These have cured beautifully. They've got nice even doming coat on top. Edges feel great. So now we are going to apply these 4mm flat sterling silver disc post earrings. So I already went over these and made sure the back was nice and smooth. And then we're going to attach these to that non-stick tape so that we can attach these posts. In the past, I have used jewelry grade epoxy. I have used several different types of ways of attaching these. Right now, I ordered this kit off Let's Resins Amazon page. And it's in our Amazon store under our favorites, I believe. But this does a really good job of adhering that initial, I can't even think of what I'm saying here. The initial sticking of this works very well with this bonding. It's their bonding kit from Let's Resin. This has a little bubble, so we're going to get rid of that. And it takes just very little. I am going to lay this down, so hopefully I don't get the bubble next time. I'm going to place this where I want it. Now, this is the light that comes with it. It charges on your computer. There's your light, and here's the button that you use to make it work. So all I do is take the post. I don't know how to do this so you can see it either. And I put it where I want. Make sure that it's secure. And then you have to keep holding this. I'm going to check it just to make sure that it's straight. And it's not. So I am going to move it a little bit before it gets hardened all the way. Oh, that's a little too far. Make sure I didn't get any of that around the edge. Now that is straight. Wipe this off. Now, while we were on that little break, I did clean up these edges on these. I just took my Resiners tool and I sanded a little bit, and then I took the polishing bit. It's like a little white cottony thing. Okay, so now we're nice and stuck. We're going to go ahead with the second one, trying to get it as even with the other one as possible. So I am going to use this tool so that I can eyeball it to make sure that it is even and in the center. And then I'm just going to hold it there with that tool, a little dotting tool, to make sure that it's held down very well. This little light right here is super effective for curing like spot areas on resin. But I was doing the memorial pieces yesterday, and it worked great for curing the resin in between the layers. And then I could put it in the ring and in the lamp and let it cure for several minutes. So now I'm going to put this up in the lamp for just 2 minutes. That's all it needs. I am going to set it back again. Try to set this up with this thing so that it can block the light. ever so gently. Hopefully that is not too far in the way. And then oh yeah, I forgot I was using the one with crushed crystals. And we're just going to do the last doming on this one earring. The other one is so perfect. So I have to say that I'm liking this pair better than the larger ones in the purple and yellow. This yellow is much more muted, and I like the contrast of the purple. I am thinking these would be really cute in white and do the florals in blue. I don't think that these, what's the word I'm looking for? When I look at these, I am more apt to see like a creamy beige than yellow, to be honest and to be fair. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to the sunlight again, and I note that I need a little dollop in the middle to kind of bring it up to the same level as the other one. And I just add that to the middle. Resin's UV resin is self-leveling. It will level itself out. You just want to make sure you don't go too far, because you don't want it to, you know, what's the word? I am lost for words today. We don't want it to overlap the edges or go over the edge and run. So now, according to my holding it up to the window, that is level. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put that in the lamp. And we want those to cure 5 minutes. So now, since I have some of this left, I usually, I don't want to waste what I have here. So I'm going to use this on the back side because we need to bring the whole back side up level. And we want to cover over this. And we're going to do 2 coats to ensure that it is not only comfortable, but it's also covering that flat back disc. And you want it to be so when somebody's got it in their ear that it feels smooth to the touch. So what I do for this first level is just kind of dot it around and move it to the edge as much as possible. I continue to run the lighter just for any bubbles, but then I'm going to use this little light to cure this. As you can see, it gets pretty flat on there, but I like it to be even flatter. So it's a 3-step process, and with this, I have found that it keeps our studs wearable for a much longer time. I do find that we have less returns these days since we use the 3-step process. I have several pair of stud style dangles that I wear that have held up for years. I have a pair of Monstera leaves that I adore. So I'm going to continue to use this tinted resin just because I don't want to waste it. And it is great for what we're doing. We're just leveling and doming out. As you can see, my tool moves smoothly now over where that disc is, that sterling silver disc is. Now I hold on to the earring quite gently. You need to remember that sterling silver is very malleable. It's a soft metal, so you want to be very careful with it. as you can see, that is a beautiful domed coat. I'm going to hold it to the sunlight to make sure that I have enough on there, which I do. Then I'm just going to give it a little spot cure with this. I will run it a 5-minute cycle under the lamp once I get these coats on. These sparkly backs are kind of fun with a little bit of crushed crystal in there, but it saves me wasting that crushed crystal doming coat that I had mixed up. Oh, excuse me. Now, high viscosity works really well for doming in the back as well because it doesn't run over the edge. And starting out, I think that's a good place to start. But as you get better, you won't need that high viscosity. You'll be able to use the regular hard type, clear hard type. So I am going to leave that. As you can hear, that is already hardened. So we're going to take a little bit more. Now these are larger design style. This style, the egg, is really simple to back dome, to back coat, and to get it nice and flat. Not all stud earrings are created the same, and they sometimes have very small areas to work with. So, sorry if I get quiet. I just like to make sure I've got it over that disc so that that sterling is protected. The most problem that you might have is that people who are not careful will break the post from the disc because it is so firmly planted in the resin. So we do replace those for people. We were having an issue with the post office. Oh no. Handling our mail quite roughly. So we have gone now to we ship every pair of earrings in its own jewelry box. Because I'm just going to clean that edge up to make sure none of that resin ruins the design. There, it's just a little quick. This one may take, I don't know, I think I could put a little more on. Actually, just gonna very gently put that on there. And then we'll move it around. Make sure it's covering that disc. That's the most important part. The second coat will bring everything up to nice and level so that it's comfortable to wear. And I'm going to go ahead and cure that. Sorry, I forgot what I was doing. I got to put one more coat on here. So our eggs are done. They've done 5 minutes. Now that is beautiful. That does not look like yellow, however. So I would say the white just came through on its own. It did what it wanted. That's not quite hard yet. It doesn't have to be completely hard between these doming coats in the back. It's just a preference where I like to hear it make that noise. That noise makes me happy. I know that I have cured resin at that point. So we're going to put a little bit more. I have that sitting to the side just so that it didn't get cured while I was working on these. Again, I'm going to hang on to the egg and then just kind of flick that to the edge without pushing it over so that we're filling in that area nicely. Now, I'm going to run the curing light. Just to do a little spot. I don't like how it feels smooth, but you can notice little dimples in it from the crushed crystal. So I'm just going to take a dot of this. Not too much. And I just want to cover that over because I don't like the way that looks on my finished product. So I'm just going to take it and give me a more glassy finished back on there as well. I'm going to take this because just in case you go around the sides, just run that across there. It's got a little bit of alcohol on it. I just purchased some of these. I was a Q-tip user, but I needed something a little smaller for more in-depth work. Now with this, I'm not going to cure with that light, that little flashlight. I am going to put these under the lamp. And I am going to put a dot on this one and do the same thing so that they look exactly the same. They have the same amount of coats on the back. So I can feel those little divots with my tool as well. And this is a very, very thin coat. Let's Resin's UV resin is self-leveling. So it does a very good job of leveling itself out, which I love. Now, if you're new to making stud earrings, the best thing I can tell you is you have to come up with a process that makes your earrings comfortable to wear and that they stay together well. Because when you ship them across the country, if they fall apart, you have to pay for return shipping, or if you have to make a new pair, that's a loss of product, time, and energy to remake them. So it's easier to do things so that you don't have to do that the first time. So I'm going to let those cure for 5 minutes. We will be back to finish them up, and then I will get the pictures ready. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. I just wanted to show you really quick how we finish these. I'm going to bring this up closer to the camera so that you can note, excuse the yellow paint on my fingernails, how flat these are, and that you cannot, that is not going anywhere. So, oopsies. Both earrings are now done. I wish that purple was a better purple, but it's not. So cute. We're going to put them on an earring card. I will finish up this pair to show you, and I will come back with photos. Oh, those are cute. First pair of Easter egg earrings we have ever had in our Etsy shop. See, as you can see, I just bent that. The great thing about these are, bends back pretty easily. These are locking backs, so they do go on quite there you go. There you have it. that is how we here at TwoCrazyShuckers Creations makes our UV resin earrings. I will come back with photos of these on the earring card and the ear wires all finished. Please remember to like, subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 100 followers, subscribers, so that we can do a live with you. Please remember we have discount codes for Crafty787, My Glitter Chick, as well as Let's Resin in our description box. And the link to our Etsy shop is there as well. Thanks so much for watching. If there's anything you'd like to see, if you would like to see how we made this, leave a comment and we would be happy to do a video of that one day. Have a great day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.